Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to a Talk Your Face Off as we wait for Pablo edition. Pablo is at a game and lots of end of school year stuff with his family. So he's going to be in here in a little bit, but I thought I'd go ahead and get started and we just do this while we wait for him. But yeah, we got a lot I can talk about. I just got home. I've been up since 2:30 a.m. It is now 11 p.m. My flight yesterday got canceled, leaving the RC, the Monster Jam World Finals that they had the RC Monster Jam World Finals at. So I was gonna fly out Monday morning. Got to the airport about 8 a.m. and actually we got there earlier than that. And my flight was at 10. We were there early, and turns out they canceled my flight. They didn't have the crew for some reason. I guess the crew, I don't know if there's sicknesses or what, but they didn't have crew for two planes that were there. And I was one of those planes, which has never, ever happened to me before. So it was odd. I've flown Delta for 20 years now and never had any real glitches in the system. It's always been an awesome experience. Even Air France, KLM, whatever, although I did have one time Kenya Air, some stuff stolen from my baggage, but other than that, it's been pretty flawless. And even this, I mean, they put me up in a hotel for the night, gave me food vouchers, which got declined everywhere I tried to use them, which that's another story. But anyway, it does not in any way rain on the parade of what was a rainy weekend, but an awesome, awesome time with some of the coolest people I've met in the hobby, and probably the best event that I've ever been to as far as RC goes to date. We'll talk about that in a little bit and why I say that, but it was just really, really well run despite the rain. So even though we had rain and terrible conditions to run in, it was run really, really well. So welcome, guys. NorCal RC Monster Trucks is in the house. Got to meet Jeremy and different people from the crew there. So yeah, that was cool. He was at the event. He made it back already, probably earlier than I did. Matthew Copeland, RC for All. What's going on, man? That was it. This is it. This is exactly it. It was either biblical rains or very hot and humid. It sucked. I was starting to build an arc, honestly, but I gave up and just flew away. Who hates RC Monster Trucks after that weekend? Not me. Dustin Spallone. Hey, Dustin, what's going on, man? Still cleaning the mud off my trucks so I can get them muddy at the dungeon this weekend. Ouch, it's going to be muddy there. Hopefully it doesn't rain that weekend, but it looks like you have a whole week of rain ahead of it to fully saturate that track. Luckily, if it doesn't rain during the weekend, it's hot there and we'll, just avoid the monkeypox that Black Market's talking about. V&B Speed, what's going on? Zach Suarez, or Zach Soares. I don't know how to say it. Sounds cooler as Suarez, but that might not be it. Looked like an amazing weekend, says RC for All. It was one of the best weekends I've had in quite a long time, actually. I don't know if it's the best. It's not, I mean, it's up there. It was pretty special. Soares. Okay. That sounds very Canadian, Zach. Zach Soares. Sorry. Soares. Was anyone wheeling and dealing to get a body they didn't race? Oh, no, but I should have. I really would have liked Jeremy, NorCal RC Monster Trucks Gravedigger body. It's pretty awesome. He can tell you about it. All right. So, well, let's look at some of the pictures. So I had a very, very busy weekend. I would say that it probably wasn't as busy as some of the other guys. I know Bari had a really busy weekend because Bari kind of puts this whole RC thing together. He also made probably, I would say 30 bodies plus, maybe is my guess, for this event for us to run, because he does RC bodies, and we all had to have different custom bodies. And between doing the ones for the actual Monster Jam drivers who participated in this event, and I am gonna say it right now, them driving, I think freestyle for me, I know some people like the racing, them doing freestyle was the highlight of my whole weekend. The RC freestyle. Yes, they did the big trucks. It was awesome, whatever. But when they were at our track area and they were running the freestyle, it was some of the most fun times I had. The laughter, the camaraderie, them helping each other out. It was something really special to see. And these people, you kind of put them up on pedestals. They're on TV. You do all, you watch it and you think, man, these people are so cool. But they're the most down to earth people, and wanting to help out, wanting to, you're not fans, you're friends. Like, is more of a way that to put it in this particular group of drivers. It's an amazing thing to be around. So, yeah, and probably closer to 40, says NorCal. Yeah, I was lowballing it to make sure I didn't overstate it, but yeah. Cody and Bari's race was pretty awesome too. I would agree with that. The racing was really good, and those two had a distinct advantage that they were running J Concepts tires, Renegades tires, instead of stock tires that the whole rest of the field was running. So I'm going to give them that. But they also know how to wheel a truck, and that was one of the most fun things to see, is that these guys are competitors through and through. They love each other, they like each other, they have fun together, but when it comes down to it, they want to beat each other when they're out there. So it's really fun to see. I have some different things here we can look at. This is actually my 30th anniversary gravedigger that Bari built for me. Well, he did the body for me. It's my LMT. It was my gravedigger LMT. I put the maybe even in a live stream, we put the Vidavon links on. Later on, I glued on the bead locks. We drilled in the flag mount and just basically cleaned this truck out. And then when I got there, I swapped out the body. Looked super sick. I mean, Bari did a killer job. This green is insane on here. And I absolutely love the body. I probably will ask him or pay for him to build another one of it, just like it for me. So that's pretty cool. Go through some of the pictures here. This is CP3, Charlie Pawkins' son. 3D printed this awesome body of his dad's truck and painted it up to look like the truck. It was super cool. I had to get a couple pics with it, and I posted one of him with it on my my Instagram. But this is over on the Losi. Racing wise, man, I did terrible, but that was to be expected. I went in knowing that I was a middle of the road driver, and I was trying to juggle a lot of things, and I was also having servo issues in all the qualifying, and that doesn't help, but that's not an excuse. I did have them, but it's not why I lost. I think I made it like one round in. These guys here are just fast. They are racers. They're good. And yeah, it's fun to see them when they get competing against each other, how well they do. So I was helping out with some of the media stuff for the Losi page. So that's what some of these are. That's why there's some of these, and that's why I'm using their particular picture page. I'm trying to find where you guys are commenting. All right. Andrew Ritchie says, yeah, the videos you shared with my highlight, appreciate. Yeah, it looked close on camera, Zach. Bryce Kenny's Okay, we got to talk about this. This was fantastic. Bryce Kenny's facial expressions were the best. So when Bryce Kenny was driving, we need to full screen for this for a second. If you haven't seen it, you need to follow Son of a Digger on Instagram and try to get one of his stories. I think he did it as a story. It might have been a reel. If it was a reel, that would be golden. If it was a reel, I could find it. Hold on. Let me see. Because even Bryce made fun of himself saying he was like the lizard man when he was driving. He was moving his lips and his mouth so much while he drove and raced. It was so funny. It was wild. And Ryan definitely wanted to point it out and make sure that people saw it. It was comical, but he was fast. I'll give him that. He was definitely fast. Oh, here it is. I found it. All right, we're gonna have to watch it. It doesn't have sound. Where is it? Can you guys hear it? You can see him just moving that mouth and that chin the whole time he's driving. Ryan was just like, "Oh, this is so good. It's just good." It was pretty funny. So you were right. Black Market RC, they were the best. He was definitely getting into it. That's for sure. Gravedigger 35. This final sucked. It was pretty good when we were there. I enjoyed it a lot. I will say the track layout was meh. It left in freestyle a lot to be desired in some ways, and in other ways, it allowed some crazy stuff to happen. But yeah, Matthew Copeland, what did Ryan think of his Rampart? As far as I know, he loved it. He mentioned that he was messing with it in his room in order to prepare for the freestyle that night. He had set up pizza boxes and that, and he and Weston were having fun, just playing around their yard. I have more videos, and I've so much stuff to even post, you guys. I don't even know how to tell you guys. There's just so many things in here that are going the wrong direction. All this stuff is from the event. This is from the actual award ceremonies. This is the Primal RC when we first saw it before they unveiled it. Trucks and all kinds of stuff. We had the practice day, we had the event days, and I've just got media upon media upon media upon media upon media of things to post, plus all the stuff on my camera. It's crazy. But yes, he liked the Rampart, Matthew, and he actually had just built some other trucks. He built one for Jim Kohler that he gave to him at the event. That's one of the videos I have to post. Not of him actually giving it to him, but of him showing all of his trucks that he bought with him. Is crazy. NorCal, Cole Bernard's speech, greatest of all time. I don't know. I had a pretty good speech at the restaurant on Sunday night, Jeremy, that may have topped that speech. I'll have to send it to you sometime. Greg Soper recorded it. It was pretty good. But it is not for public consumption because I was being a little ridiculous. I was kind of imitating it in a way. Andrew Ritchie, we build a Monster Cham track out at Backyard Crawler Attic Sunday. Got to run my Gravedigger. It's mostly clay dirt. Only 2 dirt jump pads right now. Do you believe it is 20 foot 5, 30 to 35 feet long? Gonna make it wider, but had a blast Sunday. That's pretty awesome, man. Yeah, so I have my freestyle run here loaded up to kind of talk about. That's the only thing I did well. And I mean, racing for me, once blunders started happening, I had a lot going on, and I'd actually said to a couple of the guys around me, I'm like, it'd be good to go out early because then I can make sure I focus on filming. Because what I really want to get was at least the top 8, from those 8 drivers down to the champion. I wanted to have that for all the classes in order to make a video from it all. I mean, there's just so much I could talk about from the weekend. I don't even know where to begin, what you guys want me to talk about until RC Amigos can get in here and help me save me from myself. But I mean, to start talking about the crew, everything. I mean, it's one of the best run events I've been to. We had some nasty weather. I mean, we showed up on Saturday morning for the event, and there was a lake in the middle of the track. Like literally, the way the track was built, there were roads on each side of it. And then there was a grass path that was probably lower than the roads. And then the dirt track was put on top of that, and it goes to the edges of like the middle of the roads on each side. But it's still divoted in the middle. It was still lower. And so when all the rain hit, all of the water settled in the middle, and there was really no way to get it off. You can't trench it because even trenching it, that spot in the road where you'd have trenched to is higher than where the water was. So there wasn't a way to trench it and drain it that way. We had to buy shop vacs and suck it all out and dump buckets and just crazy stuff to even have the event happen. But even then, it just moved forward. Everybody kind of like teamwork and pulled together and got everything done. And we didn't get as much practice because of that. And that's partly why I did so bad with all my qualifying and other things, was I just had very little track time. And honestly, even in freestyle, I've never freestyled the truck that I freestyled for the event. And so that was pretty crazy. But it did well. We'll show you guys the video of that. It did okay. I was pretty happy with it. It wasn't what I like to do for freestyle, which is more technical, but I think because of the event and because of the fans being people that don't know RC, I think that just going big and high and going nuts in the air is better scoring than the really technical, cool stuff like bicycles and moonwalks and all that to people. When they see it fly through the air, they go crazy. So yeah. The Primal RC Gravedigger, RC for all. We will talk about that because that is fantastic. And it was only a couple of inches clay, dirt, sand. Yes. So when you stepped in the middle, you basically went all the way through it. Yes, Dirty D is in the house. Coach D, he is here. And he's going to No Limit next weekend. I wish I could be there. So that's kind of the start of it. So racing wise, that first day, I think the mud cleared up better the first day than the second day, which is funny and ironic because we had more tarps the second day to cover that area that wasn't covered before. It dried out faster. It almost felt normal once we started running on it. Freestyle day was tacky, and when they were having to flip trucks over in the middle where they were getting stuck, it was a nightmare. But they did pretty good with it. So let's just go by day, I guess. So Saturday would be the day of the racing event and racing for the real monster trucks. And that's a doozy. We'll talk about that. Best race I've ever seen in my life. Hands down. Most fun. I was screaming my head off. It's like lose your voice kind of a thing. In the rain, like monsoon. Apparently there were tornado warnings issued we didn't know about as fans and different things. But all that aside, most amazing race I think I've ever witnessed. And I don't think I'll ever forget it. So there's so many things in it that were epic. But for our racing day, it rained overnight. just downpoured, soaked a lot of stuff. In fact, I'd gone after the awards banquet, which was Friday night after we did all of our practice stuff, whatever. We went to the awards banquet at the Hard Rock Cafe in Orlando Universal area. And when we came back, our hotel, they must have gotten pummeled because there was water everywhere. Ended up stepping in huge puddles, soaking all my shoes and whatever. Had to hair dry them the next morning. And yeah, the awards were cool. They were really well done, funny. Cole Vennard's speech was amazing. Several of them, the speeches were great. Jim Kohler showing up in a shiny silver tux or suit coat and pants was epic. Lots of just fun moments in there. And cool, what they did this year with Monster Jam and the tricks and stuff. Seeing the replays of it is amazing. A little bit weird with the dual Rookie of the Year when they didn't just outright say it like that. We had such a great field that we had a tie. They didn't say that; they just announced one. And it was like, oh, yay. And everybody was, the people that loved it. And the other people that were cheering for the other guy were kind of wind let out of their sails. Me being kind of one of those people. But then they just announced that they had a second winner. And it was just awkward the way that they did it. It felt like that could have been handled better up front. So you knew it was coming. But yeah, other than that, I think that was the one weird point where I felt just awkward for people was that moment where you had Zimmer Jr. Won Rookie of the Year. First was called out, and then second they just almost like an add-on. Oh, and Weston Anderson also is Rookie of the Year. It was kind of weirdly done. Both of them had an amazing season. Both of them deserved it. Just an awkward moment in the show. But glad they both get it. Glad they both have the award on their mantle. And man, I was rooting for Weston because I just think he's a cool kid. And I can call him that because he's young enough and I'm old enough. What's up, Joey? Joey Gargaro. Saw him there. He and Heather were in attendance, and that was wicked awesome to see them. Not to mention lightning striking the stadium after Letcher Racing. Yes, I think my heart stopped because of, one, first of all, prayers out to all the victims and families in Texas tonight. Tragedy, total tragedy, what happened there. But, when we were in the stadium and the big bang went off, worst case thoughts went through my head, and it wasn't storm related. It was explosion related at a big event kind of a thing. So, but yeah, that lightning strike was crazy. And I felt like a ghost after it hit. I mean, it was right outside the building where we were. If it didn't hit the building right where we were. Brett Crawford said lightning hit a pole just outside the hot pits across the street. Okay. Man, it was something else. Because, yeah. Whew. I mean, that flash and that bang right there was insane. All right, so that was it. So the racing then, so we did all of our racing and, came down to the finals, and it was really close. You had Trevor Adamo, and you had, he had two trucks kind of up in there, and then you had Ethan Saunders, my buddy, and he runs my stickers on all those trucks, and just really, really like the Saunders family. Jason and I get along really well, and you've seen some of his stuff on my channel and his tips and all that. And it really came down to the wire, man. And I thought at first that Trevor was going to have two of them in the top. But it turned out that Ethan had another truck that was there, and it put him into the finals, and he ended up winning it. which was crazy. So he was driving an LMT as well. So LMTs pretty much swept this thing, you guys. LMT won that race. LMT, driven by Jonathan Schultz, won the Gravedigger class that day. The Monster Jam drivers all had LMT, so yeah, that won that class. And then Freestyle by Fred Reap was one running an LMT. So it's like LMTs literally came in from nowhere and just stole everything that weekend. It was crazy. Josh Rhodes is in the house. Good to see you, man. It was so awesome seeing you in Orlando. I wish that we were closer. We were kind of separated. And in the busyness, I kind of hung pretty close to my area of the tent because it was also where I liked filming from, because of the jump being on that end. Because the track was set up, it was really long, but most of the action happened down toward where we were pitted with the crossover jump and some different things, which the crossover jump for both events was really cool, for ours and for the 1-to-1. Really, for the 1-to-1. The 1-to-1 crossover was something special, especially in a monsoon. We'll talk about that. LMTs were the way to go with less than stellar conditions, says NorCal. Yeah. They seem to handle well. For freestyle, they've got just so much power. And I didn't run mine for freestyle. I ran my just barely fixed in the nick of time Pro C, that I ended up swapping the chassis or the acrylics over for the end to just be able to take it and know what it was going to do. That is what I did really well with. I took second place. I don't have my trophy here. I meant to bring it. It's in the house at the other area where my desk is. So yeah. But I guess we could show you that. Well, first of all, let's talk about, where can we go to? Let's go back to this. But I gotta go back. And back. Oh my gosh. So wherever Ryan is staying, check this out. The car that's sitting at their hotel. The Mutt Cuts. How cool is that? Are you guys hearing the audio on that, by the way, or not? Is it coming through on anything that's playing from there? Because there's good and bad to that. What's going on, Brian? Josh Rhodes, yeah, me too. I kept having issues with the trucks. Electrical issues and broken axles kept me pretty busy. And I had lots of servo. I never have servo issues. And I had so many servo issues here, from completely destroying one of them to stripping out 2 servo horns on my Raw 500. That thing doesn't break. It breaks the servo horns. But yeah, the shaggin' wagon. Exactly, man. No audio. Okay. So I need to adjust that. I can adjust that. Now it'll come through, I think. All right. So back to photos. We'll click through these. There's the winner, Ethan with Trevor. So Ethan with first and third. And these two guys race each other for first, second, and then I think for third, fourth. I believe. Maybe not. Jim Kohler driving. There's Barry Musauer, who kind of really heads this whole thing up, driving his custom zombie LMT. He lost to Cody Saucier, who also got into monster trucks and all that through RC. So that's a pretty cool story. These two guys duking it out for first and second. These are all the Gravedigger trucks. Here's a few of the big trucks in real life. The recreation truck, I gotta say, that was shown off there was amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right, so this is what I want to talk about. This,
Yeah, this is gonna be nuts.
Is the final race. And it started raining, and I didn't think they were going to run it. And I was sitting there yelling, run it, run it. And they finally let it go, and I just was going nuts. People are trying to leave. Look at them looking down. Heads are down, not really watching. And the most epic race ever with slide outs and blown tires and twists at the finish, and Brandon Vincent still pulling it through for the win. Absolutely insane. Never seen anything like it.
Yeah, this is gonna be nuts.
Race. That was so good. I just stood there. I had brought in a poncho. We'd stopped at Walmart, and I thought, the forecast looks sucky. Let's buy them. And so I had put mine on. I'd asked for it earlier. I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty bad. I'm going to get it out and get it on. And I'd already suited up. And so when it happened, I just stood up and filmed. I didn't care. And I'd cut this one down because that's on the actual low-C one. But on my ones, I'm actually like, run it, run it. I'm like yelling at him to go for it. Like, you need to do this. And because if they didn't, it was going to tie over to the next day, and it wouldn't have the same effect of just one after the other racing. And there were some glitches and different things, like the light wasn't showing for the people on the far lane in this video. So we're looking at the staging lights, and the first truck would be taking off, and there was still red on the other one, and then it would go green almost like 2 seconds later. And it was really odd. Some of the stuff that was happening there in the beginning. But yeah. Adam's video right there touches you. Oh, this one right here. Yeah, this one was pretty cool. So he was hanging out over with us. Several of the guys would come to our table for getting there. The Andersons in particular, they knew us pretty well, and so they'd come to our table, and we'd have their batteries or stuff ready for them. We said we'd charge them for them because we knew they were busy. I mean, they were getting pulled every which way for a week like this, doing St. Jude stuff, doing autographs, sitting at the tents, all kinds of crazy stuff. And he pulled me aside. He's like, hey, come with me. This kid just that I've been, I know their family over the years coming to these shows. We're getting ready to race. And I was talking to him about the truck. I'm going to take it over to him. He wanted to, kind of get a feel of it. So it's a blind kid that Adam went over and spent. I had to cut it down to just a minute for the page to fit on there as like a reel. But he spent significant amount of time with this kid, showing him the different aspects of the truck, feeling the tires, talking about the transmission and the electronics in it, electric motor and the speeds, and like lots of stuff before we left. I couldn't leave it all in just because of time. Totally heart-wrenching moment, which is why as we were leaving, I was like, man, that was awesome. And then he kind of expounds on that a little bit. But, we'd spent, some time over there with him, and that's just how they are. The Andersons are like that. They're very inviting people, and they really do listen, and they do notice people, and they remember you as well. They're very, I don't know if it's from touring so much and doing this so much, but they remember people in that they meet at different shows, and it really shows. So it's pretty cool. Jessica D is in the house. Hey, great job this past weekend. Great job to you. Awesome stuff. Hey, RC Amigos in the house. Are you jumping in, buddy? Oh, I gotta send you a link. I didn't send you a link. Who isn't thinking about everything? I've been up now for nearly 24 hours, 21 hours. I'm not firing on all cylinders here, buddy. I'm Instagramming you right now. Yeah, Jessica Dahl. Her Lucas Oil truck was the coolest truck out of any of ours. Honestly, it was the best. I just see your thing here. I'll also point out that going through security this past weekend was a lot of fun because I had my Venom pouch, and it's like a pretty good size cube, and it was packed to the hilt with batteries. And then under those batteries was about every single type of adapter for batteries you could have. Way too many, but it's just where I keep them. And they were like at TSA, what are these for? I'm like, we're going to an RC car race, down with Monster Jam, and trying to talk it up and to help it slide through. Like, oh yeah, cool, I love Monster Jam, that's cool, man. Didn't work. Yeah, okay. Why do you need so many of them? Why do you need all these adapters for them? Why does it look like you could make an improvised bomb out of this little box we have here? That's basically what they were getting at. Both times. It's pretty comical. But the second time I'd actually checked my luggage through. So they wanted people to check their carry-on. So I just carried the bag, which was a bummer because it was really heavy. RC Amigos, there he is. Almost. He's getting his headphones on. He's got projects to work on. He's a busy dude. You ready? Thumbs up.
Think so. You got me on the earphones?
Yeah, all of you. It's very loud.
Is it?
At least on my end.
Oh. Well, that's different.
That's better.
Maybe I should sit like this so I can see you. I'm in a different environment today.
Are you at your workshop?
No, this is my garage. My shop's at down the street. So I don't know where to look. Camera's right here. I'll look at that. So, hey, man.
I like the drawings, man. Are those yours?
No. There were things I got years ago. So actually, when I started my business here in the garage and upstairs in my studio. And then now I'm in a proper shop. So it's good. It's good. Man, talk about running. Coach, or I didn't coach today, but umpired some softball. It was good. A little
tired.
Shoot
out by anybody?
No.
Oh.
No.
I saw these little league stories about the umpires being just completely annihilated by the fans and the coaches and the players.
People, I don't know. I think you can tell I have a little bit of experience when I'm out there on the field, so I take command of it pretty well. I'll give people the stink eye, but it doesn't go past that. But no, it's good.
Like open carrying or something on your hip or something.
Pretty much. I just kind of give the look. I'll be sitting there. It's funny because every now and then I'll just point at the coach. I'll just be like, "You."
Yeah.
And then do one of these.
I was just about to show my freestyle run.
Let's see it.
I'm just kind of filling some time with some of the stuff that happened over the weekend. It was an awesome weekend, man.
Catch me up.
Ryan Anderson jumped 38.9 feet or something like that in the air.
I thought Barry's was higher. I saw both.
How they had the GPS mounted.
Yeah.
So again, there's a couple awkward moments, right? And it always happens in any type of thing that anybody tries to run, right? Where all the fans are like, I don't understand how they're doing this. Like,
sure.
So the drawings on one of them show like up to the bottom axle, right? like because there's something GPS, but then there's like a little drawing that they show on the TV screens, and it shows a line going up from it up to the bottom axle.
Right.
And then you see Ryan's, and it goes all the way up, and it goes up to like the top of the chassis. It's like, did he mount his GPS up at the top of the cab, or
Right.
like it left too many questions in minds because it wasn't explained how they were measuring them. Or at least it wasn't heard by me.
Sure.
Because the audio system was not great there where we were sitting. So, yeah, there's just things like that where, as like somebody that runs events, you're like, that needs to be, you know. And the other thing they weren't doing is they weren't calling out like how to vote. And then finally, like I saw it on one of the screens, like there's a code, like you go to judgeszone.com or whatever, and then it needs a code to get in. And I'm like, what is the code? And they're not telling you the code. And people, you know, freestyle after freestyle, and like, what the crap? How am I going to vote?
Right.
And I finally see it at the end of somebody's freestyle. The code pops up on the little bars that go around the stadium. It's like ORL for Orlando. And I'm like, cool. So I type it in, but then I go to vote and I can't, because by the time it took me to type it in, the window of judging is already closed. It's like 15 seconds. And I don't know when that starts. Does that start at the end of their run? Does that start if they tell you to go vote? There's all these things that don't freaking make sense. And there's so much on the line, right? Like, yeah.
That's what's hard about, you know, doing, like you said, you know, putting on events, understanding that.
Well, even in our event, like I'd done mine and I was in the lead for a while. I'm watching, I'm like, I don't know, like these people that have just arrived, they don't know how to vote. Like we're not telling them, and there's no signs up that say how to vote.
Right.
And all of these new people just showed up and nobody's told them how to vote. And it's just a weird thing. If you're going to introduce it to the fans, you need some kind of glowing sign that's just like, here is what you do.
Right.
You are an integral part of this happening.
Yeah.
Here's all the voting information, the website you go to, the code you put in.
Yeah.
And it starts now. Like all of that stuff, like, is just kind of, yeah. So,
well, that's cool though.
But it doesn't matter because like I was in it for fun. Like even after I was in number one, I was cheering on every person that came after me to like get after it. Like I wanted them to burn it down. So
yeah,
because it's really about entertainment, right? So people show up and entertain, and as long as they're happy and they vote and that is the fan favorite, I mean that's what really kind of matters,
right?
Because that means that most of the people that showed up left happy because the person they voted for did well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
How did your car, or how did your truck do? You ran the freestyle and freestyle.
I
right?
did. So yes, I was gonna run the free. So I had two trucks in the event. I only had one race truck. Some had two, and then if you had two, you could freestyle two of them. And then you had the Gravedigger class, and someone had two in that, and then I had one in each class basically, which is more than I could technically run with trying to film and do everything else I was doing there.
It's a lot.
And because mine kept breaking, so I'm also now trying to repair and all of that on top of things. But I did get to run the freestyle one, and it was a Jester body, the Jescalade, like the Escalade version of it.
Right.
Turned out super cool. And man, I'd never freestyled that truck before, and it was so much fun. Like it handled just how I wanted it to. Like everything I put into it, it just did.
That's awesome.
And I'd raced it, and so I kind of knew it is a little bit different, but I didn't usually run it on 3S like that, and so the extra power was like super necessary because there weren't like style moves I could do with it because it wouldn't get upset because the suspension is too good in it. It like just sticks everything. So you couldn't really get it to kind of like get all crazy and out of control. I couldn't in the reverse, like the censored system just won't like get into reverse fast enough. It's like it takes forever, like a race motor.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, my gosh, like even a couple times in the video, you see where I'm waiting, and I'm like, I'm sitting there keeping hitting reverse, trying to get it to reverse. And but yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, Jonathan Schultz literally burned it down with a lipo fire.
Oh no.
He did. He
Oh
did.
no. So how did
Not
those
a full on fire, but it was he arced it and blew his electronics and smoke and yeah. He'd done a low center of gravity setup, and he was doing like a shorty pack with the bullets on it. It was up against the motor side, I think, and so it got hot and everything overheated and melted to the point where the two leads arced on the motor when it like melted to it. And yeah, something like that. That's what he was explaining, at least at lunch. It sounded some kind of arcing where it just basically created like a fuse and like basically welded his electronics.
Oh, brutal. How did the bodies work? So I know it seemed like, so I don't know what the details of it were, but it seemed like people got assigned a body or, you know, a driver personality to run as their truck. How did that work? Like, did you just, was it like a random draw?
Some people chose. I think others were picked. Like I know Josh Rhodes already had a bunch of Gravedigger stuff, so he ran Gravedigger for both. Yeah. He's like Mr. Gravedigger. So
right.
And then other people, I guess, I don't know if they chose. I was supposed to be Scooby-Doo. I'm just kind of indifferent in general. Like I'm like, yeah, whatever you guys want. I'm just happy to be here, you know. Like
totally. So did they provide the bodies, or did you? Because I know you
for him. Like he'll make them for you, but you gotta. I mean, you pay for the bodies and the art and the work on them.
That's cool.
So there's expense going into it, you know, hotels and meals and all the things of getting there, plus making sure you have the trucks to run.
How about parts? Was there like a parts bay?
So Losi was there, and so they supplied LMT parts for anybody that broke.
Oh, that's awesome,
LMT
dude.
Parts. So they had a bunch of axles. They replaced my servo. I had the S6280, like $150 servo, blew up on me, grenaded like.
Oh man.
And they gave me a whole new one because they were saying like, oh well, we got some. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna be sticking one of the LMT like stock servos. And he's like, no, it's the exact same servo you have in there. I'm like, really? Oh, okay, cool. Like, because I was talking about, I'd just before that thing where I grenaded it, I'd up the voltage of the BEC to 8 volts.
Yeah,
it's a high voltage servo, and
is that in the stock Firma, or are you running a different ESC?
It's stock Firma. You can go up to 8 volt.
Really?
Yep.
I did not know.
So you can do 6, 4, 7 something, then 8.
Oh, I didn't know that. So that raw 500, that's where you get a ton of power then out of that.
Yeah, if you can go up to, if you can bump up. Same with that. So the raw, I don't even bump the raw one up, and it's fast and powerful.
Right.
That 6280 is kind of slow, but the second you bump it up, it's fast, and it's got some power.
That's cool.
But I blew it up, and I actually drove it into the announcer's leg, which was pretty rough.
No.
Because it was like, did the crossover, and I'm like coming home free, like, man, this thing's hauling a great run.
Yeah.
And no steering at all. Like gears are blown out right into his leg. Get a nice mark on it.
Biggs in the chat.
Anyway, they had stuff. They had parts and rod ends. A lot of rod ends blown.
I'm sure.
Couple of people pulled out the bottom of the axle. Couple of definite axle breaks.
Yeah.
In fact, Camden Murphy spent, they were joking about it, like an hour fixing his axle, replacing it after he broke it. And he threw it down onto the ground and broke it. He threw it and landed so awkward after he finished, and he broke it.
Oh, that would suck.
I think that was the story, because they were making fun of him at on the second day about it.
That would be terrible. Biggs in the chat, Big America RC. He says he's in for next year.
That's awesome, man.
There you go.
6, 7.4, and 8. That's what Matthew Copeland says on the BEC of the stock.
Okay.
One.
I still got to get in and adjust mine. It's still well, mine's the settings for the Baja Ray. So I got to get in and figure out how to do the direct reverse and all that kind of stuff before I run.
Oh yeah, direct reverse is key.
Yeah.
So, and that was one of the things is I was practicing. I actually did. I think it was on the Low C story. I posted it, and it's probably gone by now. It's gone. But I'd posted the backflip, the moonwalk that I'd just gone on a couple times and hit. Dustin was there. I think he filmed it actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I was ready for it, and then I never got to freestyle it because we ran out of time. And so we didn't do the Gravedigger class. Instead, we did like what I'd actually pitched doing at the end was like, hey, any chance we can just do like all the Gravediggers out there and just burn it down? Like after we're done, it's 40th anniversary of Gravedigger.
Yeah.
Let's just all take our trucks out there and do one big, like they did, 35th anniversry and just freestyle till we can't freestyle anymore.
Right.
So that's what we ended up doing. But yeah. But Losi was there. They turned up with a bunch of parts and support, and they, sent shock stuff down, rod ends, sway bar parts, and anything you needed. And they put a whole roller in just in case they needed something from that, like diff stuff. But you could rebuild your diffs. They had just about anything you needed to.
That's cool.
Fix your truck, and
but you got to fix it fast, right?
Yeah. And I'm sure that's going with Bari now to fix all the actual Monster Jam drivers ones when they're on tour.
Yeah, right.
Stuff. But
that's cool.
So yeah. Big America's in for next year, man. I hope I get invited again. It'd be awesome because Nashville's driving distance for me. So
that's where it is next year.
Raminator. Speaking of Raminator,
yeah,
the Primal RC Gravedigger is the coolest thing I've ever seen, ever.
Bro.
Like RC related.
That thing looks so epic. The shocks on that look so rad. Like everything looks rad.
Well, they even made shocks specific to it that are tuned so that the front traveling and everything, the movement of it matches with the one so they shortened it. Plus they did something else, the angle, so that it would travel just right to work with where it's put. Yeah, it's so good. It just looks right when you're there. Leo Donald that bad boy too.
Bro, I want to see that. I want to see that.
Powered that thing up. It hit front flip right over the box, the pod, and down. Oh my gosh.
So if it's a shorter wheelbase, does it seem snappier?
Is it shorter wheelbase?
Oh, I thought you said, you're just talking about the shocks, not the actual.
Yeah, the shock part is a little different. And they beat it up, man. They were like rolling it and crashing it. And some of them, they were coming off and landing so hard front axle down, like front tire. Yeah. Just one that you just would expect carnage. And it just kept going. It was insane. They did have one snafu where it didn't want to start on them, and that was the Taylor RC motor. Mm-hmm. But I also know that as they were running it another time, they had to keep throttling. When I looked at it at the end, all of like the heat sink stuff, like where on the top of the motor, was caked in the mud. So it was just overheating the motor like crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But yeah, anyway, they're saying here Losi's a class act. Yeah, Dustin recorded it. Yes, he turned up his reverse for a little stoppy moonwalk. He did in freestyle. He bumped it up off of a thing and stood it up on the top instead of doing the backflip to it. Nice. Very good. I never got to run mine because I didn't get to run my LMT. I handed it off to John Zimmer Jr. To destroy for me.
Nice.
And I filmed it. But yeah,
that's cool. That's cool, man. Yeah, I'm anxious. I can't wait to see. I've never seen a Raminator in person, and I'd love to see one of those. I'd love to see the Gravedigger.
It looks bigger with the Gravedigger body because of the height of the rear of it and everything.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It just looks. Well, the way
tires look sick too.
Oh my gosh, it just. And even the stock one ran. So when they couldn't get the other one fired up, they fired up the stock one and ran it, and it was more than enough. In fact, the jumps there were actually scaled more for like a 1/5 scale. Like they were perfect for that truck.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, so he had fun with it. Yeah, let's show that run really quick. Some people are asking to see. I've got it, I think, queued up here. Let's see if it'll do it.
I'm gonna look.
All right, it's time for the Jestalade. It's Tony CC driving Jester.
These announcements were amazing.
Big air to start off announcing his presence. Drivers trying to come out big, get on it right away. A two-wheel save for Jester. Oh, flip! He nails the front flip, lands on the back axle hard. That's a Freestyle RC truck. Those axles take a beating, and he nails that front flip. Double backflip! He nails it on the back axle again. So Tony CC coming out big time here with Jester. 30 seconds down, a minute 30 left. Massive air. Sometimes it's nice to see that truck fly nice and straight to just appreciate how high that RC truck is up in the air. Lands that one perfect, and another great combo.
The other cool thing they did is you got to fill your time. As many rollovers as needed.
These are high-powered trucks, and it is tough to control them in the air. You don't just sing it off the ramp. You have to have throttle rhythm and control to make sure that truck flies through the air. Oh, another backflip there. 1 minute down, 1 minute remaining, and that's right. The more they're on the throttle, the truck will want a backflip. The more they let it coast through the air, hit the brakes just like that. The nose will come over, and that's how they'll try to do a front flip. They're the light wheel, they throw it in the air, just like the real monitor. Jason trying to turn up here, a nice backflip.
See how slow the reverse is right there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah! Backflip again! And again! Tony CC throwing it down in the Jester! I know what to call that flip. He flipped so many times. He screws it into the mud. 20 seconds remain. 20 seconds. A tough one to get there right in the center of the mud. Not requiring a lot of flips. This has got to be a high score. A big threat to take the lead away from Taco. Another amazing big time backflip.
Basically all backflip.
The truck dragging the rear axle. Looks like we got front drive now. And Tony hanging it all out, and that'll conclude his run. Let's hear it for the Jester!
But man, those guys, the DeFalco brothers, they brought so much energy to the whole event. Like whenever there should have been downtime in most events, they were able to just talk through it.
Yeah.
And just fill time and like keep it energetic for anybody that was sitting there waiting. It was insane.
That's awesome, man. So how sticky for traction was that mud? It looked
So
like
sticky in the middle, like you could barely walk out there. Like he was saying he almost lost his shoe getting that thing back. I ended up just wearing, I had Crocs with me. That's what I just kept on. Like as embarrassing as it was like, nah.
Hobbit style.
Yeah, I'm just going Crocs. Like when we'd get there, people would take their shoes off and just go barefoot because it was so bad.
Yeah. It looked sticky. I mean, it looked like it just hooked everywhere you were at.
Yeah. So, and that truck, like, that's all it could really do is just air it out. Like, that's what those Freestyle trucks do. And he put those acrylic lower links on. And
I can't believe they survived.
Yeah, like those backs where I just jacked it onto the back end like that.
Dude.
Because the axles are made out of that square aluminum, they don't take any of it. It's all transfers. Right. And normally it just busts, those rod ends or whatever. And those links were just like, yep, nope, we'll take it.
That's crazy.
Somehow I ended up breaking the rear drive shaft, the actual whole Losi, like the big Revo drive shafts busted.
Oh wow.
Off the So that's the universal part of it was like it just broke apart and like it was hanging there.
That's crazy.
But yeah.
Crazy.
It felt bigger than that in person.
Yeah.
Like some of those airs felt really big in person.
They looked big, dude.
Transferred in video.
I mean, they look like at least 10 feet by 15, 20 feet long. Like,
and I think that's what the fans liked. Like when you're there and you'd hear and you'd watch, like they and being non-technical judges, right?
Yeah, it's just
they're just looking for wow factor.
Yeah,
and so, it was just like throw everything I could at it.
Super sick.
But Jessica posted her run earlier, and she had an awesome run, I thought, with the Lucas Oil one.
Oh, right.
And she ran into some issues with some link breakages, but like she powered through it and did awesome.
That's cool.
And the truck just looks amazing as well, so that helped.
That's a pretty wicked body. It looks pretty rad.
Yeah, but the technical stuff just doesn't get scored as well, like when it's not just like pure judges that are like in the hobby.
Right.
Like Dustin's runs, Dustin had some really cool stuff. Like he on that secondary pod in the middle there, they had different like levels of those jumps. He got onto the top of it and he backed up and popped it up onto the front of it and made it stoppy on the nose and then walked it in reverse as like moonwalk and dropped it and went. And there was like cool stuff like that I scored really high.
Sure.
Again, I was there like just fanboy geeking out that we're all doing it. Like, and I was just yelling for everybody that was going.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Like cheering him on. And so
what else? What other kind of things did you guys do? Like, what was the event kind of? So, like, I don't know if you covered this. Yeah. So but like
24-person class racing. Then we had a break. Then we did qualifying for our Gravedigger class, which was another 24 field of trucks. And then we did we stopped for that and we had the Monster Jam drivers come and they did a whole racing. They did they had practice time, qualifying, and then racing. And so they ran through it all. And that's where that's where I geeked out. That was my favorite part of the whole thing was when the Monster Jam drivers were there and they were running their trucks for racing, qualifying, practicing, whatever. Like on the day we did the run through on Friday before the whole event even kicked off, it was just us there. Nobody was dressed, they weren't in their,
right,
their team gear and all that. At the end of it, they just went nuts freestyling all of them at one time, and it was the most fun thing ever. But
was it like watching professional? Like when you see, I'm sure some people have seen up close professional athletes, and they're just freaks, right? Like you see them like swing a bat or throw a ball or do something, and you're like, when you're up close to it, you're like, this guy is a freak. Like, how are they doing that? Is that how they are when they're the pros are driving their RCs? Does it just feel like these guys just have another level, another gear?
With the Monster Jam drivers, that's what I meant by pro.
Well, I know, but that's what I mean.
Some of them were good. Like, Tyler Meninga, Bari, Ryan Anderson, and Cody Saucier. I'll say those guys for sure are like really good.
Yeah.
Like they could give any of us a run for our money pretty much, and then you had the other ones like Kayla Blood that was just like she really wanted at it, like, and she was just so fun because she was into it so hardcore, like practicing and wanting to get it, and she was good, but you could tell that she didn't put in the time that Bari's been doing it for years as well.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
that's cool. That's
and
awesome.
then Camden did good, but Bryce Kinney, I think he was the top qualifier out of the blue, because he came in and he started a little bit like all over the place, and then boom, he nailed, like he figured out and was killing it. But consistency wise, like I had Cody Saucier do a bicycle, and he's like, "Oh, the traction here sucks." Like, the day I was asking him to do it was so dusty, everything was so slick. And so he figured out how he could do like a donut and then turn into it and get it up on the two wheels and then drive the bicycle out of it. And it was wicked. Like he did it. He did it intentionally. Like he figured out a way to get up and into it and then could drive out of it.
Right.
But yeah,
that's awesome. That's knowing your car, right? Knowing
they're
your
good, man. They know what they're doing. They kind of get the idea of it anyway.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, their freestyle, like Camden had was it Camden? One of them had issues with their battery, and they drove it up the side, and all of the other drivers jumped in, like to work on it for him, like pit crew, like in the middle of his freestyle run, like try to swap out his battery. It was I think it was Camden, because somebody else was supposed to have charged it for him and it hadn't been charged. And so he's like middle of his run, drive it over. They all like start working on it and getting them hooked up, putting new battery in. It was fun to see how they're not just like, oh, hey, get some of the RC guys to fix it for you. You know, like
Yeah.
they all just jump in and are totally into it.
Well, and that's how it is in real life for them, right? Like,
oh, they'll jump in and work on their trucks. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome because that's, you know, like we've said it before in the RC comps that we've done, where it's like, if there's no competitors, there's no fun, right? Like that's part of it, and you want to help that, you know, do a pull up, you know, like help that guy come up, and no matter what they're at and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
super
Jessica
awesome.
Says that was a Tony CC run. LOL. Typically, I wouldn't just go big air like that, though. Not like when I do your ones.
Yeah,
Pablo, I try to keep it low and a little bit more scale, and try to get a bicycle and a moonwalk and a.
well, I think too, because there's a little bit more of a danger factor, right? Because you can't get the rollover. You have to fill the clock without a rollover. That's what's hard.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I did do the front flips and stuff for your run, though.
Yes.
I remember I did do that for that one.
Those are definitely showstoppers.
But I was 100%. So pumped because they'd set the backflip ramps up side to side there at the end so you could jump on them.
Oh, yeah.
What I wanted to do was what Tom Mintz actually did. So he starts with his back end up and he does that nose wheelie kind of moonwalk thing, and then he reversed it into a flip off of it.
Yeah.
It was insane.
I saw that.
That was the big America move where I was going to backflip. I was going to go into the middle of it, backflip into a moonwalk, back into the other one, into the like reverse kind of like front flip that Tom Mintz did. That was my goal. And so I was so ready to get out there with the LMT and do that because there's a lot more control. I don't know if it's a stock electronics. Like everybody asks me, what do you run in your LMT? I'm looking for all these crazy motors. They want some kind of crazy thing. I'm like, dude, stock. Even my kits, I buy the exact same stock setup because it just I can control it so well.
Right.
Freestyle stuff that I just know what it's going to do. So, yeah.
Well, I put on mine. Well, I haven't driven it. My son has. I mean, I have, but not just, we've talked about it. I've just barely driven it. But on mine, I put the Baja Ray stock in there. And I think that might be too much because even though it's not crazy, it's like, 3,800 versus a 3,500. I don't know why there's a huge difference, but man, that thing is just a rocket on 3S. I tried it once on the straightaway, and I was like, "This thing is fast, and crazy."
The one thing that bugged me about the actual racing this year, I'd be curious about your way because you just had to deal with the judging thing.
Yep.
So Monster Jam apparently had a series of pro judges for theirs, but what they chose to do was they chose to come up with the pro judges score. Say the run was Cody Saucier, which was way underscored for what he did. He had an epic run with a whole bunch of tough tricks in it, and he was in the 7s.
What?
And not even the high 7s. He had a backflip to moonwalk. He had lots of energy. He used everything on the track. And he was like 7.3 or something low.
That's crazy.
It was dumb. But so the fans say they gave like an 8.5. That's too high. So they gave like a 7.9. Well, what they did is they averaged all of the judges into one score and say it's a 6.
Oh,
and then they take the two of those and they average them together. And so the fan judges have more pull in their one vote than this group of judges does here.
Yeah.
So I would have said do fan judges is one vote and then 3 judges each.
And
then average all of those together and that makes the fans 1 of 4 instead of a half. Like
that's what we did.
Way too much.
I did that on ours, and I loved the way the judging came out because it was so close. Like it was actually really close to what the pro judges, the people that we selected to curate this, and so we had 3 in each class. They scored it how they scored it, and then the fans, and so the fans could it was a simple of say,
but they only pull it up or down 1/4 of it in yours in that scenario instead of 1/2 of it.
Right. No, that's what I mean. So like that, the fans accumulated as an average of one person's score. It was like fan score, judge 4, judge 3, judge 2, judge 1. So that's what I liked about it. And it seemed to like, I don't know that their
50% weight was crazy. Like, and so what I felt like is the other judges, because some of their scores were super low. Yeah. It almost felt like they knew that the fans were going to judge it high because there was a crash or something crazy. Right. And so they intentionally stuck low. And you're like, what the, like, none of these numbers ended up making any sense throughout the whole thing. You're like, they had a good run. Why are the judges scoring so low? And then you're like, oh, they're probably figuring the fans are going to judge it way too high.
Right.
So they're sticking in low. It was just, I don't know. It was really weird.
Huh.
Cody Saucier got robbed though, and really? Todd LeDuc as well. And I just call that the LeDuc curse, man. He can't buy a score, like.
Yeah, I know. He goes big too. He goes.
You couldn't go big on this track. There was nowhere to go big on this track.
Really?
Nope. They tucked the pod so close that the way you hit them, most of the time you were hitting off of another one and you go into the corner, but you jam yourself against the wall. So if you jumped over the bus, like then you were having
lose
to like
momentum,
turn.
Yeah.
So, and they had like this like pod, like 3 stack on the right side. So the only way is if you were daring enough to jump onto the middle pod, but then you couldn't get off it and really hit the next one. It was odd. They didn't want anybody to go huge is what it felt like because, and then the other jump, you could go off it, but it didn't feel big because you drove off of like a huge, it wasn't like a kicker. It didn't pop you into the air where it just was like, holy crap. Like you kind of just drove off a really long embankment. Like when Adam jumped over all the grave diggers, they had 5 of them lined up, but it was just kind of, you just ease off it. So it doesn't feel huge because you're just coming like off of
like a drop in.
Yeah. So, and they had a circle pod, like it looked like a boob in the middle of one of the sides. And I think it was to try and upset them. So if they did jump, it would get them upset. So when they hit the next one, either that, it was to keep them from doing a slap wheelie and do a front flip a la Lee O'Donnell. Maybe that was to just kind of, there was no place to do a slap wheelie.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't buy a slap wheelie in that course if you wanted to. It was interesting.
It looked pretty rad, especially that last final in the rain.
The racing was epic. The racetrack was epic.
Yeah, that looks sick.
The freestyle track was crammed and it wasn't as good as any of the layouts you saw all season. That's what's weird.
Yeah.
Where they had that big circle pod in the middle and then all the other cool kickers and stuff around the side where they were launching them.
I wonder why.
Not to launch it.
I mean, what do you think that was like that?
I don't know.
Reason or just
there was one spot you could where they used for the high jump, and I don't know if they told them not to hit it hard or what, but so if you go the opposite direction of that long jump that Adam did over the trucks, that would send you high, but nobody hit it with speed and just sent it. And I think that's because you go into the stands on the other side if you
like you couldn't slow down.
Over sent it. I don't know, like but yeah. It was an interesting thing.
Was there really a lot of lightning? It looked like there was a lot of lightning.
Oh God, it was crazy. Lightning that hit right outside the building was insane.
Yeah.
Yep. And then walking out to our cars and stuff.
I was surprised. Okay, so I was surprised looking at this. Like, I've only seen what's been on social media. I was surprised how few people that looked like they were in the stands.
Yeah.
I mean,
The freestyle night was pretty full.
yeah.
It's hard to say. There's coming back from COVID, all that kind of stuff. Some people still have a little bit of fear of getting into big groups like that.
Yeah.
Large events.
Scared of the monkeypox.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But it felt like, there was some energy still in the crowd, and there was some good freestyle. It was still just kind of for the world finals. There wasn't a wow moment part of the track for anybody.
Yeah.
Other than when El Toro Loco did that moonwalk and was going up that ramp. If he'd have kept going and then kind of just popped himself off and rode out the other thing down the backside, that would have been like never done before.
Who was driving El Toro Loco for that one?
You're gonna catch me off on.
Was it Castro? Was it?
No, I don't think so.
I thought I saw he got an award, but I don't know, like, who was driving that weekend. Elvis.
Was
it Elvis? Mark List. I'm just naming names that are on the chat. A lot of people under cover from the rain and the heat that never went into their seats.
It was Mark List, yeah. Oh, people are saying different things. Elvis. Dustin Spillane, Mark List was my dark horse pick to win freestyle. I really wanted Charlie Pauken to win. I really did. Or to just be out of the blue and like have Weston win it. Anderson, like as a rookie.
On that big of an event.
I'll tell you what though, so Weston's score was high. Like considering what Cody Saucier's was, and then Weston came out and crashed with like 50 seconds left on his backflip. Wow. Yeah. But when I replay his in my mind, he was sending it off of everything. A lot of people were just kind of like little popping because the way it was set up with that they're kind of popping over and then hit, like they were going easy, and he was really upset and just hitting things crazy and sending it through the air a lot bigger than a lot of the other drivers off it.
Yeah.
So he had still had a 7, even though he only made it halfway through the run, basically.
What was up with that backflip thing? I couldn't tell. It was like are they going for height or something like that for the like?
Yeah, it was mimicking their toy. They were just going for a front flip or a reverse front flip. So he drove it in reverse, jumped it, and was trying to flip.
Yeah, I was like, did they just put the body on that backwards? I couldn't tell.
No, he drove it, but the tires were on backwards.
Okay.
So that they would have more traction.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, whoa, that's he hit that pretty hard.
Yeah, Weston had some definite rebound things and bounces, and he did have some pretty cool air.
I want to see that
momentum.
I want to see that Raminator Gravedigger do the front flip. I can't wrap my head around that big and heavy of a animal.
Well, let me see if I can pull it up in a way that I can share it.
Oh, that just seems crazy. Like when I think of like 80 to 100 pounds with momentum,
it was from a standstill, man.
That just seems violent.
It was insane. I think I go crazy. We'll hear if I do not. In my mind, I went nuts when he did it.
You're like the Monster Jam Washington account. Yeah,
dude,
I ever watched his account on Instagram?
Yeah,
he goes crazy.
Nuts. Yeah. Well, that's how I was. Like, I finally moved out from Greg Sopa and Alan Zier because I was just nonstop standing up and screaming at stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get it. I'm like, sorry, dude. I'm just gonna slide over here. I get a little excited at these things.
Little kids in front of you are getting all scared because you're jumping up and yelling.
And this guy's crazy.
I know. He's
I
off
think
his
it was
rocker.
day 2. I need the Raminator. Period.
So, do you get to take a little break now, or do you have something else big coming up?
Do I?
Mm-hmm.
Just editing this stuff and editing work stuff.
Nice.
And actually, we're supposed to go on vacation next week.
Nice. I was wondering about that, how we're going to do that. So I will be same thing, middle of next month. And I don't know if I'll have service where I'm going to be. Last year was really spotty where we were, and we were camping in a different spot this year. So we'll see, but it'd be fun to see if we could do it, or at least a little pop-in short one.
Yeah. I'm sure I could do it for my phone.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant. Like for me, out where I was last time, it was really spotty service for my phone. But I don't remember. It'd be cool to do it. I could do it with a sunset over the lake and rocks. Oh, it'd be so gorgeous.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, yeah.
Found it.
Let's see it. I want to hear you scream like a little girl.
Let me hear if I do. Yeah, I did.
That thing sounds so rowdy.
And luckily, everybody else did as well.
It sounds
crazy.
It sounds so rowdy. It's funny.
All right, so yeah, let me share this screen. All right, it's in my editing software. So the color on it. Let me just make something to drop it into, so I can put a little color on it because it looks terrible.
Drop a LUTs on it.
I got to drop a LUT. Exactly what I was gonna say. That was always my thing. We'll drop a LUT on it, baby.
Yeah, some of that LUT gold.
All right, we dropped the LUT. This thing is ready, almost ready for prime time.
There you go. A little bit of that secret salt on there, dropping that.
Did anybody watch this that wasn't there in person online? If so, what was your favorite run? We talked about this at dinner. I went out to dinner with Greg Sopa, Alan from Low C, and then the freestyle guys, Josh and his dad Doyle. And we all talked about what our favorite run was. And everyone had a different opinion on what their favorite run was. So I'm just curious who is everybody's favorite run, and then I'll say who mine was. And I have a couple, but I have a couple favorites. All right, so I got to share this somehow. I'm going slow.
Let's do it, Tony.
Share screen. Here's Final Cut. You can see that.
It's tiny.
Ooh. How's that?
I think you got to turn down your feed. It's super loud when you popped it on.
And yesterday,
How's that?
this truck was unleashed for the first.
That better?
A little better. It was super loud last time.
Well, now it didn't go back to where it was when it did it.
Can you make your preview screen bigger?
I will once I find it.
Man, that thing looks massive. Looks like a Power Wheels running around out there.
This is dumb. I had it in and out pointed.
How tall are those tires? They look like 8-inch tall tires.
Not sure. It comes around here. No. He does like a reset. There it is. In. Say that.
So NorCal's talking about their night races in August, That
I
would
know,
be
I wanna go to
so
it.
fun. Oh, that'd be so much fun. My kid's head would probably explode. Literally, he'd probably just be like, "Oh, pink mist."
All right, so I've got it here. Now we got it working. So
Those
I need
ramps are
to,
massive.
yeah, they're really big. So for fifth scale, they were awesome.
They look like swimming pools, like upside down, man.
Let me get rid of a bunch of stuff here.
Oh yeah,
That better?
yeah.
All right. Right?
That wasn't like a low one either. That had some altitude.
Like he rolled this thing several times, really big. But this motor is super torquey.
Sounds like a little Yamaha motor.
Here he sends it. But he doesn't need much run up with the power of that motor.
That's crazy. Whoa. That's a lot of altitude right there.
But with that cage on it, I felt like it could just take anything. Like he rolled it hard several times. Like here's a big one. But there's other ones where he'd land like right on that front axle, like that. Whatever he does here. Or even that back axle. You'd think he'd break a link or something.
Yeah. It looked like it was lifting the front end up just when he was punching it there.
Yeah, that's that Taylor motor. It's a much higher output motor.
Oh.
So.
Yep, I want it.
But I really liked, going back to the thing, I really liked the Blue Thunder Todd LeDuc run. I felt like he was going different angles than everybody and trying to hit the track in unique ways. Everybody else kind of just did like this square, very
ring around
predictable pattern. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Where he tried to hit things from the side, and Ryan did a crazy backflip off of something we didn't even know was a backflip area off of one of the pods. It's like, what?
But
crazy. He didn't get a moonwalk or any of that little extra. They were allowed to do 2 backflips in this event.
That's it.
Well, usually they can only do 1.
I didn't know. And they shut it down, huh? They're like,
no more. You might just get a talking to if you do more. I don't know how it works. But
they're like, sorry about it, Ryan. No more backflips.
Yeah, I mean, what's cool about it though is they can do it on each side so that the fans see it.
Yeah.
Instead of only doing it in one spot where it's like really far away.
Yeah.
So it just amps up that location. But yeah.
That's sweet.
Super sweet. Way to tune the exhaust for a deeper tone. Not really that one. That has that long pipe that goes out the rear, which is also cool because that cage covers it. That tailor-made one has like a straight pipe that goes off the back. The stock motor has a much lower tune to it, so it's not
so hot.
NorCal Monster Trucks Max D deserved it. The cartwheel and moonwalk he did was awesome. Yeah, I mean the moonwalk thing that he does with the pop feels like a 2-wheel skill thing to him with that front-ended motor. It was cool. The cartwheel was the coolest thing he did. I felt like Chucky's save was better for Charlie Balkin's saves.
I didn't see his.
I felt like his were almost better because they were much more upset and all over the place.
Max D's cartwheel reminded me of Chris Farley doing a cartwheel.
Yeah.
It was kind of slow and like.
The thing is, like, so when you watch it though, the energy that Ryan Anderson carries around the course alone makes it the most exciting thing to watch.
The sound too, like his
Sound that he
throttle.
gets with his rev and his throttle rhythm, the way that the front end's always up or the back end, something's always going kind of cattywampus the whole way around.
Yeah.
Then he threw that special backflip that nobody else even tried to do. They were doing it the safe way. He did the safe one and they did the hard one. And he did it earlier than I would have, like 30 seconds left or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, he just big aired everything. Like he just, you didn't hear him let off when he was going, when he was approaching something.
Yeah.
It just felt like there were more hits for him than. That's the one thing when you get into like El Toro Loco, his worst thing that he did was he slowly did a little 2-wheel skill thing in the beginning, ate a whole bunch of clock, no energy to start with, no big air. That's the other thing Ryan did. He took a chance. His first hit was the big launch. He could have busted his rear axle or whatever. It's those kind of factors that you vary in into what they did.
Yeah.
But I think that Chucky's had the most like, whoa, like wow moments. Like, I can't believe he didn't die, like, or he didn't kill his truck.
That's what NorCal is saying. He's saying Chucky's look like it hurt.
Yeah. But I would say that Max D, the one thing is Ryan's was underscored. Like, it should have been closer, I think, to Max D. But it was shocking because the fans didn't give him a huge score. And the fans typically seem to love Son of a Digger. So that was an interesting take on that
All
fan
the
judging
fans.
that one. But
that's
yeah.
crazy. That's
yeah.
Seems
I mean,
like a fun time.
Any of those three could have won, and it would have been okay. You know, that's what happens when you have fan judging. Not everybody judges. Not, you know, even with our stuff, you have more judges show up, like more fans show up at some point. So then it changes, like, to actually getting more fans. Where in the beginning, when it's just a few people, you know, our driver scores count more as like real, like judges zone realistic scores on what we think people get based on having seen a bunch of RC freestyles before. It's all, you know, anybody can walk away saying I should have won or I should have whatever, and it's the way it's going to be. So
yeah,
I actually was just thrilled that I got any place.
You're like, I'm just happy to be here. I don't know what to do with my hands.
I just want to be here. I just wanted to film stuff and hang out and have fun, jump on my cars.
Was there any cool swag that you guys got that was not for public?
We got the low-C
high vis. Yeah, I saw those. I was like, "Ooh,
yeah,
low-C high vis,
low-C shirts."
That's cool
with their new logo on it, and then we did get a Monster Jam, one of the event shirts.
That's cool. I don't know if it was at you or was it, well, it was either you or it was on your low-C page or on the low-C page. But there was a picture of like all the shredded parts of the bodies from the real 1-to-1 monster trucks. And I was like, ooh, that's cool. It's like a little
people are buying that.
Oh, that's awesome.
There, yep, you could buy stuff there. Oh, we got VIP credentials too. A little badge that says Monster Jam World Finals with your picture on it. VIP.
Were you like Wayne's World?
I tried to use that at dinner for no, Jeremy. It didn't work.
You're like,
I was so amped. Like after the last day, like after freestyle, like I'd been just cheering every one of them. I cheered all of our people. I cheered all the you know, RC drivers. Or the Monster Jam drivers driving RC.
Yeah.
I was just like giddy. Like the end of the day, I was just thrilled it was over in some ways because there's a lot of work.
So I think that's something that people not everyone experiences that. Like I've been to a couple events, you know, or like we have meetups or something like that. And it is just that high you get when it's like you just had so much fun all day and you're tired, but it was like all you could think about is getting back out there or doing it again, or like just, you know, like that's so hard to explain to people. And you know, and sometimes it doesn't even need to be like, I urge people to find that when it comes to RC, because that just is like what the RC is about. You know, like there's times where it's just me and the kids that we go out and do a hike and crawl.
Yep.
And I remember last year there was one, maybe it was last year, the year before, we were out and we were deep, like 4 or 5 miles in on a hike crawling. And I remember stopping the kids and I was like, listen to this. And it was just like, all you could hear was like the creek babbling and like the trees rustling. You couldn't hear anything else. And it's like stuff like that, you know, is just, it takes the whole hobby to a whole other level. And being able to be involved in stuff like, you know, this freestyle thing is just one of those things. And I hope everyone gets a chance to do something, if it's not, you know, a high level thing like that, but at least, you know, going out and racing and just having fun, or going out and doing whatever with a group. So much fun to do that. So much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, this whole thing just, the DeFalcos and the people putting it on, everybody that, you know, put their feet in the mud and got the track prepped, and worked so hard. It was so well done. One of the best I've ever, you know, been a part of.
Yeah.
Definitely the way that it was run, and, you know, just everything kept moving forward. Everybody was ready with their truck, which never happens.
Yeah.
Like where they get called and they're there, like,
Right.
and ready to go. Like that never happens. And everything just moves so smoothly. Even with our, you know, rain delays and that kind of junk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was just on another level when we went out to, and I hadn't eaten really enough. Like that was the other thing, is like we kept pushing dinner off. Like, oh, we'll just, you know,
one more
get some
pack. One more
stadium.
pack.
Then you never wanted to walk away because they were running on we need to get this done because there's a threat of rain again.
Oh,
And they didn't want to be freestyling in the rain. So
yeah.
they had to do 2-wheel skill, which was supposed to be the night before, high jump and freestyle all in the time frame. So
That high jump
they
was
were just
gnarly.
like,
That high jump's gnarly.
it's it's damaging to trucks.
Oh, well, was it Ryan Anderson? It looked like he cased the center of his truck when he landed. It looked like, I was like, that
He
probably
set his
hurt.
down all right in a way to me. Like he might have cased it a little, but it looked.
It looked like like it was smooth, but it looked like he might have just like high centered it just a little bit. And I was like, that looked like that hurt just a little more than I
Jim
think it
Kohler
would.
went right backward, right?
Yeah, I saw that. He always does that though. He always like endos, blows off his front wheel or whatever.
Throws the throttle too long. Well, then Max D popped his rear axle hitting down.
Yeah.
Barry had a really good freestyle run.
Did he? That
Really
height
clean.
thing looked huge.
The zombie height I thought was the highest looking.
Dude,
Or
maybe it's
whatever.
his
Maybe
arms.
it's the fingers are going reaching to the sky.
Yeah.
It seemed so huge. Again, I don't know where they were judging from.
Yeah.
We don't know what the criteria exactly was. I don't, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That'd be kind of fun to try with RC. Like get a parameter for a ramp set up and then just be like, see how high you could go.
Oh, they do it at RC Fest, the one that
well,
name.
I don't mean like the long run up one, not the
Okay.
long. I just mean like the from 6 feet back. How high can you get it and land it? You know what I mean? Like that would be kind of cool. I think that's way more challenging than people lead on to.
Oh yeah,
way more challenging.
Well, that's what I was saying. That was the one jump people could have hit really hard.
Yeah,
because it was there and they were getting 38 feet from like a short standstill. What if they'd have hit it with a run?
38 feet is so high.
Yeah.
It's so high. My bucket truck does 40 and I'm up in the top of that bucket truck and I'm like, this is high. Like,
yeah,
it's a ways up there. Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, the nice thing is they bring the landing up to them a little, you know.
Yeah.
But still,
all you're looking at is sky for 2 seconds. The 1.5 of a hang time.
oh my goodness, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the event was awesome. Fred Reap put on a show. He was slingshot for freestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And J Concepts has some cool LMT stuff coming out, custom.
Really?
They're prototyping some stuff that was on Fred's truck, and it was awesome.
That's cool.
So the battery mounts on the side opposite where the transmission stuff all is. Tucks it, and that allows you to tuck all your electronics and everything in so tight.
Huh.
I mean, the way that they did the whole center, I mean, I have a video of it that I'm going to post. He let me video it. He said it was okay to share.
That's
so
cool.
Fred's doing some crazy designing, man. Fred and Jason are getting crazy.
That's awesome.
But I heard some other things that may have been seen or whatever in their workshop while they did a tour with some people. That
Conspiracies
announced. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it because I don't know what they're. If it was a hush hush thing to the people that were there
with the ID tags.
Yeah,
I'm with the band.
It was Fred that told me what it was, but I still don't know what the things are on it. But yeah, so I'll hold it close for a minute.
Was it an Iron Pig monster truck body?
I wish. It is not. You can get that from RC 4-wheel drive.
You can in Lexan, nonetheless.
And Lexan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
oh,
crazy.
so the whole giddy thing I was talking about was how we'd gone out to eat and I was trying to use my badge as like kid stuff. And I'm not normally like that. I'm usually like quiet and whatever. Like,
yeah.
I was like,
Does this give me 50% off of drinks? That's what I was told.
Yeah.
You're like, it's happy hour all the time for these people, right? Where's the food cart?
But yeah, the thing that it was missing is it lacked. So they had the big air competition, but it lacked any huge sends. They jumped bigger and did bigger tricks at Ford Field on a normal day than they could ever think of doing at the World Finals, which is crazy because World Finals is where people go nuts.
Do you think it was just that they tried to pack too much onto the floor?
I don't know. Maybe because of moisture and stuff, they had to change stuff up. I don't know.
I really like. I wish I had 2 tracks because I would totally make a figure 8 racetrack like they had with the crossover.
Oh my gosh, it was so cool.
That's super rad,
especially in the rain. That was next level. Like awesome.
Maybe I'll do that in the winter time. I'll set it up that way because we don't race in the winter after October. We don't race out here, and it's only basically for monster trucks out there. So maybe I'll set that up for the crossover and monster trucks and get some light snow action.
Yep.
That'd be so sick.
Hey, NorCal, I'm putting your date on my calendar. I saw your message come in. So the last dates I haven't put on my calendar got blocked, unfortunately, by other things, family related. So I now can't go to Horizon RC Fest or Axial Fest Badlands.
What?
Yeah. I didn't have it on the calendar. I didn't have the dates slated as busy. So they got booked by my wife. So
I know. I had the opportunity to go down to Axial Fest down here in California, but I have a wedding I have to go to that I cannot miss, and I'm like, like the one time I get the opportunity. NorCal says to bring your VIP badge.
Oh, what will get me?
That'd be fun, Tony. Maybe we could do something where we could both get there at the same time. Because that's not a very long flight for me. Where in NorCal are you guys?
A-Main, right? Area?
I don't know. A-Main's not a city. So
sure it is. Have you seen it? I think they're
Sacramento
out of space.
Yeah.
They're in Chico, aren't they?
Chico's south, I thought. I don't know.
Oh, maybe no. A-Main is the South stores.
Chico. Okay, they're saying Chico.
Yeah.
Sacramento is where you'd fly into. 90 minutes north to Chico. Okay. That'd be fun. Maybe we could fly down
Would
there.
you run
Tony.
it at A-Main?
We could fly down there and get a car together, a little Geo Metro, and it'll be like planes, trains, and automobiles. And I won't be the one with pillows, though. Those aren't pillows.
I didn't hear any of that.
What? I know you just got your screen's all garbly. You keep on dropping. I got nothing. Tony. Are you there, Tony? Are you there, Tony? I see my feed. You guys got Tony?
No,
Whoa, there's
I
3
am.
Tonys.
There's
2
multiple.
Tonys. You're in the Spider-Verse.
I don't know what happened. So they run at A-Main. Okay.
I was saying we could.
How far that is from
They said 90 minutes from the airport.
Sacramento?
That's what I was saying. We could rent a Geo Metro together, and it'll be like planes, trains, and automobiles. But I'm not the one with the pillows.
I'm bushed.
Can I interest you in some shower curtain rings?
You're going the wrong way.
Yeah. Casio.
All dirt track. I like dirt.
I love dirt.
Except when it rains, but that's not a worry in California.
No. Tony looks very tired. We're both really tired.
And I've been awake since 2 a.m.
That's crazy.
2:30 a.m.
I wasn't awake that early, but I was to the shop early this morning, and I rebuilt my my 1.9 U4 crawler. And so this happened today. I got
Looks heavy.
No, it's not too bad. It was just leaning over. But look at all that down travel. Look at this. Whoop. Long.
Dang. Put it down so when it's sitting, is it sitting at?
That's like full droop. Sits down nice and level.
Yeah.
And then when I pick it up, it goes way high. So I got these panels I'm going to put in here as bed rails or bed panels. And then paint it all up. And I'm racing Saturday. Just put it together today. So we'll see. We'll see how it
Crazy.
goes. Yeah, tell me about it. And I've got my Baja Ray torn apart. And I was going to race that too. And now I'm like, because I was going to build a cage for it.
Yeah.
And I'm putting this body on it. I've never seen a Baja Ray with this body.
Oh, that's cool.
It
Sounds good, Jeremy. I saw your message about going to bed. I'm going to cut out soon here too.
Yeah,
That's a really wide body.
that's what she said. This is for the this is the J Concepts drag body. It's the 68, I think. C10.
The Fred.
That's massive. So that one goes on the Baja Ray. It looks pretty good, actually. I thought it was a little wide, but I trimmed it out and it looked good. So, but I got to make a cage for it.
Yeah.
So my goal is by the time I leave on vacation, that was one of them, the 1.9. The Baja Ray is going to be the next one. And then I'm going to build these cages for the Traxxas. Where is it? The Traxxas.
That was cool.
So this is for the Traxxas version of the scale reel from Scale Metal Supplies. So I designed this one up, and I'm going to build that. And hopefully I can get 2 of those done before we go. And so I'm going to take like, you know how it is. What is that? Vicky Vale.
I got something too to show.
Yeah, you do. Let's see it. Ooh, I can't see it.
Focus.
Come on, Tony. Focus up on it.
Uh,
Focus up, Tony.
manual.
Focus up.
I gotta have dumb stuff. There it goes. I went too far.
Too far.
Way upside down. Dude.
Cool fingers.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
I turn away from the light. That's the honey badger.
Yeah, buddy.
This is the digital one. 2.2 kg digital micro servo.
That's what, when you say that, you got to play that old school Computer Love song. Is that Cameo?
Yeah.
Computer Love.
2 kg.
That's my jam.
Honey badger servos. There it is. Little guy. Little but powerful.
Inches matter.
And it don't give a honey badger don't care.
That's awesome. There's
honey badger servos are going to be in stock very soon.
That's awesome.
All metal geared. Yeah.
Dude, I got a set of your
analog version too that's cheaper. Is it for the people that want like the Emax style cheaper? So I have a digital and an analog.
That's awesome. I got your shocks in, your double barrels.
Yeah.
I haven't put them on, but I love them already.
Yeah.
They are nice and buttery, and I can't wait to put them on. So
and you don't have to build them. That's the best part.
Yes.
The O-rings and everything.
Yes. So
I've
one thing do you have, maybe this is something that I don't know if you want to put on your website, but
recommended by RC Amigos.
Yes. No, I approve that message. No, the what the springs are, because it comes with several sets of springs, and like I think they were black and silver and gold. Am I right? I don't remember.
Orange, black.
But you know what I mean? Like what springs are what weight?
Different rates. Oh yeah.
Because I have no idea. And
yeah.
My gorilla hands, they don't. I'm like
soft, medium, hard.
They all feel the same.
Yeah.
So,
that's a good call.
I can't tell. But
I just got my brass steering links in as well.
Yes.
And those are available already, and the tools are in. And I have 50 of the tools available right away. The other one's waiting on their bags to come in.
Nice. I'm going to post that on Instagram in my stories because I haven't been posting in my feed, but I'm going to have people go and buy more of your tools and your brass steering links. Those are awesome. I want to get one of those. There's such a huge difference. I don't think people realize once you put power to the steering and those, if you run the stock steering links,
oh, they bend.
Garbage. Oh, they're so bad.
Well, even my so I made a mistake. We can talk about that. I don't mind talking about my failures in life. Even these plastic servo horns will bend under really powerful.
Oh, yeah.
My Reefs one right now is still running the plastic one, and it's bent.
Oh yeah,
it's bent all out. So I tried to make a 25 tooth splined servo, and it is a 25 tooth. It actually fits very well on my 1/10 scale Reefs servo.
It's a mod 1 25 tooth.
However, the micros are like a B 25T. So there's a different designation, like lower scale B. So mine actually I designed right, but I did not know that there were more than one size 25.
So you could still use them as 10 scale.
but it's a 1.4 screw. Like nobody's going to use a 1.4 screw to a 10th scale, except maybe for like little micro. Well,
oh, you mean on the end of the horn?
the end of the horn, the screw hole pattern is only a 1.4. Because that's the other thing I hated about all these things is I hated using bigger screws for them.
Is there enough meat to bore it out?
I'd have to drill them all out and tap them, which would be a pain in the butt.
No, I'm just saying you sell them at a discount and
Let somebody else do it.
Yeah, dude. That's what I would do.
Do it
all day. Just sell them as a 5-pack.
Just drill it out completely and then put a nut on the back side of it. You
all
don't even
day.
have to thread it.
All day, every day.
So anyway, I done it and I designed it and I did it in my CAD software, 3D design software, and built it. And it all works great, but to the wrong servo. But the screws fit in perfectly. The 1.4 threads are on point.
Nice.
25T is actually very snug.
Nice.
On my JX servo, which is not a micro servo. So they have a micro size 25 tooth, and I used the wrong pattern.
I would do that, man. If there's enough meat there to drill it out for a 3 mil, I would just sell them at a discount, and they can
but
drill
they're
them
short
out.
Too, so
that's all right. There's plenty of custom builders out there that would buy something like that. I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure I could figure out something for that.
I've seen them just scrap metaling them. Take them to a scrap yard person. Hey, you got used for 500 of these servo horns that don't fit anything.
Take them to the college, to the jewelry metalsmithing class. Let them do a project with them. How many necklaces can you make?
It's like, where's your money all going? Well, I was going to have some profit, and then I bought a product that doesn't work that I designed myself.
It's like the business owner, like that. You can't win them all, Tony. That's
luckily I didn't win 500 of them because I had to buy a bunch in order to design it myself. It was painful, but I laugh it off and I move on. That's what I do.
Yeah.
But we got honey badgers coming, and two versions: the cheaper version and the more expensive digital version. A little bit higher quality, but
leather-bound books,
leather-bound wallets.
Ooh, look at that!
Ecuador.
Ooh, that's nice. I have my belt on that I whenever I go to Mexico, I always stop by the leather shop and I buy like 2 or 3 belts because it's just you can't buy a belt like that up here. You just can't.
That quality of leather. Yeah.
Oh man, I buy a belt and I guess I don't have my wallet on me, but I buy a belt and I buy a wallet and I'm good. Like every time.
Yeah. Matthew Copeland, they will be on once I get them photographed and all the specs and all that written out and photographed with I have to still put all the top pieces on. So I just opted to go with bags for them instead of boxes because they ship easier this way. Cheaper for everybody too because I can ship them easier. So
Avenger Racing in the house says, hey, it was awesome to meet you.
Wayne, what's going on, man? I met him at the World Finals. Avengers Racing, if you haven't been to his channel, goes to like all of the big Monster Jam races all year long.
That's
it's
awesome.
Like travels and tours to them and films them and puts them up, and it's amazing. And like does like special crash videos and all kinds of cool YouTube stuff.
Super rad.
Yep. If you're not following him, Avengers Racing, you should.
Do it now. Smash that subscribe button.
Well, I need to wrap because I need to crawl into bed. I'm about 23 hours in now. So
bro, this steel table here can't hold me up anymore. I'm I'm
Good
standing.
crash.
I've been standing up this entire time, and then I umpired all night, and I'm like, oh, my legs are killing me.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go down.
And what's in the box? I just got your package in the mail today. I went to the mailbox and went to get my mail, and it was there. She was actually holding it. She says, "Hey, this just came in for you." So my post office is about the size of my studio here that I go to. There's one worker at it, and she's got to know me because I go in there now every day delivering stuff and checking my mail for what people send and stuff.
So for people that don't know, you're shipping, you're on it, dude. Like you hustle a lot to ship that stuff. Like I've ordered stuff and it's like, it's shipped already or whatever. And I'm like, dude, like didn't have
we don't push that though, because there's times like when I'm at Monster Jam World Finals where it takes 5 days to ship.
Well,
So
every
it's
time
limited on the site. Like, this is not my priority. I've got other things going on. I'm not sitting in my office shipping.
well,
But if I'm home, man, I literally, when it comes in, I stop what I'm doing and I make it.
I know.
I love when they come in. When they pop in, I'm like, hey, new order. Boom, package.
Yeah.
I've got like a label maker now. Like it prints them off as like, you hit click and you're like, holy crap, it was done before I clicked the button. And stick it on and
That's
so
awesome.
yeah. Anyway, we're building up the store stuff. We're about to where I want to be with products. I don't want to go crazy with them.
Yeah.
I want to have a few just consistent. The one thing still coming is the mighty Chihuahua, and that's the big dog, the little dog, big dog,
The little big dog,
the little big dog. So, I need to pony up a bunch of cash in order to get that moving. Which I haven't been paid by work for the last 2 months. So I'm trying to figure out why. And then I'll be able to pay that big chunk of change to get it in process.
Yeah.
And then
We're
from there, I'll just be supplementing and keeping it so they're in stock. I don't think I'll be changing it. It'll just be like, once it gets low, make sure it's replenished. And then that'll be with all the things kind of sticking in that little niche window we got.
They're going to be like, you want to get paid? We're going to have you come in on the weekend. Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. We're going to move you down to the basement. Yeah.
Hey, Avengers, you don't have to necessarily buy stickers from the store. Most people, that's more for people that just stumble upon and want to do it. But I actually send them out for free if people ask for it. But some people like to give a donation some way, and that's an easy way. But I will just send you one if you want. So
super rad, man.
I finally got a bunch in stock. Anyway,
nice.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yes.
Lots of Monster Jam stuff coming to CCxRC for the next year.
I'm pumped, man.
I have to work on.
There's
going to be a long thread of it. And yeah.
I like it. I like it.
We'll see you guys later.
Take it easy, fellas and ladies.
Pablo, have a good one, man.
You too. Stay classy.